How do you make the right call, the right judgment, the right decision, especially as a leader, when you feel like you have to make many decisions and not make the wrong ones and try to get the big ones right? Because no matter what you decide, you have to live with that choice for the rest of your life. Sure, some things may be reversible, but every decision that you make, ultimately, if you're in charge, even if you exercise decentralized command, the big ones fall upon you. Decision making is everything. It's one of the core components of our thinking as a species. It leads to schools, to the military, to relationships, to love and war. And there is no clear-cut answer to this. Of course, you can build decision-making trees. Of course, you can research mental models. Of course, you can counsel your mentors for advice. But I want to draw upon my experience here at the university because there is a distinction between being a university employee, being a government employee, and running an entrepreneurship center focused on the well-being of students first. Our values are actually student learning and development, number one, and then a distinct second is venture growth and success. The reason we don't put the startup company ahead of the student is the moment that we do that, the moment that we take investment in the company, we have a vested interest in the company's success before student success. The majority of our students at our entrepreneurship center actually do not go on full-time with their companies. They go on full-time professionally with amazing careers, but we won't be able to really prove that we're helping them unless we put the individual first. That being said, our companies do go on to do amazing things. They raise hundreds of millions of dollars, and I think the future will form some kind of investment in them. But first and foremost, it's all about people. And I think that's the first point here in terms of making decisions is really understanding, especially if you're leaving an organization, and it can be your family, right? Organizations can be all levels, is what is your why? It's the first question we ask all of our student entrepreneurs. It's not what's your financial model, give me your pitch deck. No. Why do you do what you do? Because a founder with a strong mission will create a strong vision. And when they fail 20 times, they will still find a way to pivot and find success, right? And for us, for me, my why is in the realms of work. I do what I do to help young people build their dreams. So that's a guiding core principle for me that helps me make decisions when I'm faced with tough circumstances. In addition to your why, I think it's helpful to have your own code of conduct, your principles, your value, your dreams. For me, one of the things that I'm really keen on is making sure that I put my unique stamp on the world because life is short. Time is running out. So I want to make the most out of today. When I look back at life, it should be almost like a movie for me. I did the things that I wanted to do. And in keeping in line with one of the most important components of it all, people, one of my things to do in my personal life is to create special moments for people. Not numerous moments, but special moments. So I'm a nomad. I travel. My time is limited regardless. So the people that are closest to me, I don't get to spend that much time with them. But when I do, it must count. I must be as present as possible, another value, and really enjoy the moment and try to be as good of a friend, son, mentor, whatever, as possible. There are people that I've only seen once a decade, but when we still see each other, the bond is still there. And that's really important to me. It's all about helping other people. I've talked to several incredibly wealthy people who come back to donate and their time and their money to the university. And all of them, every single one, once they've made it, the next thing that they want to do is pay it back forward. And we see that at a smaller scale too with our student entrepreneurs, like maybe a year or two out after they've built things or been successful or just gone through the program. What the first thing they want to do is, hey Manu, how can I give back to the program? How can I donate my treasure, time, and talent? It's remarkable. And this calls into mind the famous poem called The New Colossus at the Statue of Liberty by American poet Emma Lazarus. It's talking about, all the immigrants that are coming into Ellis Island. And it goes something like this. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. And here you guys know this. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest toast to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. I mean, what a remarkable thing that represents what America is to the rest of the world. If you're not familiar with this poem, the title of the poem and the first two lines refer to the famous Greek Colossus of Rhodes. It is one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world, which was in episode, 25. We talked about the 7 wonders of the world. But this ancient sculpture is contrasted with the Statue of Liberty because it was a sign of Greek fame and strength and warlike pride, as opposed to the Statue of Liberty, which is the female embodiment of maternal strength, welcoming those that need help, right? And in many ways, that's my role. One of the reasons I don't like going into the office is not because I don't like people, it's because I get swarmed by questions of every single nature. It can be about the company, it can be about personal stuff, it can be about fitness. But people are always reaching out for help, and it puts me in a very interesting position where I don't really like to give advice to people on their lives or their ventures. I'm there to help guide them to making the right decision. But there are a lot of times in which I do have to make judgment calls in the heat of the moment to make sure that our ship moves forward. So what do you do? I think, as with everything, examples are extremely helpful. So let's say you have a student intern that's done tremendous work for you as an executive assistant, and they get into a car crash. They call you immediately. They're totally fine. EMS is on the way, the police are on the way, but they're freaking out. You know the authorities are probably going to handle it well, but what do you do? Let's say you have 2 students, African American, from the south side of Chicago, not affluent like the majority of people in the accelerator. They got in, but they can't afford rent for their summer experience. What do you do? Obviously, as a university employee, you should not be involved with medical issues, with personal issues, with financial issues. No, 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 no. What if you see a student on campus and she walks towards you and she breaks down crying? For no reason, apparently. What do you do? What do you do when a parent of a student calls you, finds your number, and is freaking out because they haven't heard from their son in days? What do you do when there's a team that has not raised any money but has a manufacturing space that they need to clean up, a large 30,000 facility? What do you do? What do you do when a 19-year-old kid is getting sued by their own co-founder? How do you stay fair and impartial to both, especially when both feel all alone and misunderstood in the world? What do you do when a company tells you that they're moving across the country and they need help moving all of their stuff? What do you do when a student falls unconscious in the bathroom, is unresponsive during a demo day? And I could go on and on. But you see, with all of these things, at least for me as a leader, these things are not visible at all. These are the hidden costs and decisions of leadership that no one really needs to know. The crying, the struggles, the big emotional swings in terms of life events. To me, this is where leadership is most useful. As you can notice, out of all the things that I just mentioned, very few of them actually relate to the entrepreneurial world. Very few of them are business decisions, but they are all at the core human decisions. And I think that's the most important thing, at least for me. I have a reputation on campus at work for being very methodical, very operational, very logical. And not just at work, probably in relationships as well. And that, you know, has often been claimed as a fault. That's fair. I think you need someone level-headed and logical enough to make decisions. That being said, though, if you're a leader, what is your role? I'm going to reread this quote from episode 9 where we talked about the Navy SEAL retired guy, Jocko Willink, who now does leadership consulting for Fortune 50 companies. It's just so good. It's titled The Dichotomy of Leadership. A good leader must be confident but not cocky, brave but not foolhardy, competitive but a gracious loser, attentive to details but not obsessed by them, strong but have endurance, a leader and a follower, humble, not passive, aggressive, not overbearing, quiet, not silent, calm but not robotic, logical but not devoid of emotion, close with the troops but not so close that one becomes more important than one another or more important than the good of the team, not so close that they forget who is in charge. Able to execute extreme ownership while exercising decentralized command. A good leader has nothing to prove but everything to prove. When things go wrong, it's the leader's fault. When things go right, it's because of the team, right? And I think that's what some people miss. Only the people closest to me truly understand how deeply I care about the things that I do. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. If I do something, I'm going to go all in. The reason that I'm extremely professional in the things that I do, and I bring my best self forward, like 100%, giving the best and most massive effort to everything that I do, is because I care. Our entrepreneurship center really isn't about the millions of dollars or the exits. I mean, that's cool. But ultimately, it comes back to that why, which is helping young people build their dreams. Because to me, startups, entrepreneurship are just a way of life. It's all about lifestyle design for me, optimizing your happiness. And I think building companies, building your own way of sustenance, that's a really cool way to live. And that's why I do what I do. So with all of these things, with that in mind, it becomes very easy for me to make the right calls in these tough situations when perhaps the university would be like, don't interfere, don't do anything, let HR handle it. And it's just like, okay, cool. Nod and do the thing that I think is right. So if there's a car crash, you bet I'll be on the scene. If kids need extra money for rent, you bet they'll get it from me if they have a good reason. No interest, right? The students are breaking down. It's a simple question. Do you need a hand shake or do you need a hug? If a student is missing, we will go searching for him personally, break his door down, find him, and buy him a plane ticket to send him home to his parents. If there's an office that needs to be set up and no one else is available, we will set it up. When a student is getting sued, when companies are in these big disputes, we will sit there as long as it takes and listen to both sides until we come to a resolution. If there's any kind of health emergency, there's a reason I trained as an EMT. It's because I want to be able to handle business when SHIT hits the fan. People should look to me to help guide them. This is one of the skills that are important, I think. You see, it's knowing when to push and when to be soft. And sometimes there's just inaction. And it's really hard to make decisions if you don't have examples. I think good decision making leads to good culture and vice versa. And these things don't need to be emergencies. They can be very small things. I'm looking at this summer as we just wrapped up, little things that you can do as a leader that are highly visible that can have an outsized effect on your cohort, on your troop, on your members. There's a student that accidentally spilled something during a lecture. I was in the back listening. I saw it. No one moved. So I got towels and helped clean it up. The next time there was a mess, students got up, got towels, cleaned up the mess during the lecture. During a guest speaker, we had a famous VC come and speak to us. We were short one chair, so one student had to stand. I noticed this for 10 minutes. No one did anything. So I grabbed a chair and gave it to him. Now, there's never a student standing. Everyone makes sure that there's enough chairs. And even earlier on in the summer, There was a young female student that was having a very, very rough day, and she looked at me and I offered a hug. It was mid me giving orders to the rest of the cohort. I didn't stop doing what I needed to do, but that happened. And you know what? We wrap up the summer with this cool event called Congratulation, where it's congratulations to the rest of the cohort and almost like a graduation for the summer component of these entrepreneurs. And the students all wrote nice things about each other. And you can bet that we've created an amazing community with some of these examples, to the point where I sat back and I was invisible as they congratulated each other, thanked each other for building a great cohort, really looked up to each other for inspiration and motivation. They talked about the cohort multiple times. It wasn't about me anymore. It wasn't about the leader, right? Because I hit them hard in the beginning with, this is the level of professionalism that I expect. None of this is personal. It is all designed over years of thinking and experience to really refine young, impressive, community-oriented leaders that really care about their fellow entrepreneur. And man, I got to say we succeeded there. Because when people come and visit us, whether it's the deans or founders, alumni, they can sense that there's something different in the air. And for me, behind all of this operational skill, behind all of these tough leadership calls, behind all the effort that we put into our curriculum, like all this quote unquote hard skill stuff, it's very simple at the end of the day. You got to care about the people. And that's why I had such an interesting discussion with one of my friends. He's a technical guy, so he's in the software industry. He's pretty high up. I think he's a VP of technology. And he's like, oh, I can't wait to get into management, like true management, instead of just like technology focused. Because all this stuff is hard skills, databases and software. That's hard. It's all operational. Leadership is it's just a soft skill. It's not difficult. I think that people are the most difficult thing in anything. They can be the most energizing for sure, but dealing with people, dealing with different personalities, dealing with teams, man, that is so difficult. Because as Martin Luther King says, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And when you're a leader, you have to make judgment calls. And guess what? A fair amount of them will be wrong, but you have to act. It's just like the firefighting service. Like, you don't really know exactly what's happening. You get the call. Okay, maybe it's a fire. Maybe it's a medical emergency. You got 90 seconds to put your gear on, get in the truck, and get going. But you're being fed information as you get to the scene. You have to make the right call at the time with the amount of information that you have. And guess what? Sometimes it's wrong, but you got to keep moving forward. I think another excellent quote is, nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. That was said by one of our greatest presidents during the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln. So, how do we conclude this? All of us have to make decisions. Like, our whole life, from the moment we wake up, is all decisions. Do I stay in bed? Do I open my phone? Do I scroll on Instagram? Or do I have goals today? Do I want to be in better shape? Do I want to be closer to my family? Do I want to show up to everything that I do and be present? Am I choosing to be a vegetable today? Or am I choosing to seize the day and make the most out of it? So people say that we make hundreds of decisions throughout the day. That's true. What to eat, what to do, whether to step forward. Yeah, of course. But for me, this ties into very simply episode 11 on procrastination and motivation. If you really think about your life and what you want out of life, and you have these goals, let's say one of your goals is to get in better shape. If that's the goal, in my mind, all the decisions that stem from that becomes much more easy. Okay, I want to be in better shape. Okay, I want a six-pack. I want to build some muscle. Cool. I guess I know what to say when someone offers me alcohol. That's a no. I know what to say when someone offers me junk food. That's a no. I know what to say when I think I should go to the gym. Yes. I know what I should do when I think about hitting my protein intake. I got to get a lot of protein. You see, making the big decisions, in my opinion, makes the little decisions a little bit easier. So, as you can guess, there's been a lot of tough judgment calls this summer. A lot of things have been going on, but you know what? We're rolling with the punches and we're doing the thing. We're making the calls. So, I'm going to link up some of the episodes that we talked about in this episode in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.